Welcome back to Transformers Academy Season 2. Today, we're taking a look at the episode Medix Gets Schooled. In this episode, the recruits get a science lesson from their new teacher, Perceptor. But when Medix doesn't get called on in class, he sets out to prove himself to his hero.
Professor Perceptor is here! Come on! We should not keep him waiting. Just imagine, one of my personal heroes is now our science teacher!
You know, it's odd. When Percy was introduced to the rest of the recruits in his Cyberverse debut episode, Need to Know, Medix didn't seem as excited to meet him for the first time as he does here. Medix seems to idolize Perceptor the same way that Wedge does with Bumblebee. I wonder if Medix has a secret room somewhere with a shrine of Perceptor toys and merchandise like Wedge did with his secret Bumblebee collection.
Yeah, and amazed at how little I know.
Me too. Science has never been my strongest subject.
Science has never been my strongest subject. Science has never been my strongest subject. Science has never been my strongest.
What? What? This is Hoist. Hoist! You know, the recruit that is always working on stuff in his lab. Hoist, the one that made all those gadgets and tools for the other recruits in the third episode of the series. Hoist, the guy who said this in the same episode I referenced earlier.
I use math and science every day. How else do you think I invent anything? Science has never been my strongest subject.
Hoist! He's a great inventor! You should see the things he's come up with. Tell him, Hoist!
Science has never been my strongest subject.
Very nice work so far, Hoist.
Science has never been my strongest subject.
How? How can they make Hoist say this? How can they make Hoist say that he's never been good at science, when he's the recruit who's demonstrated the most that he is good at science? Who wrote this episode? Mark Seal? Sorry, Mark, but this is completely out of character for Hoist. It totally goes against everything we've learned about him. How did this even happen? Isn't there some kind of show Bible that details what type of characters all the recruits are? Their interests and personalities and stuff like that. If not, then there obviously should be. And if there is, it must be missing some key pieces of information. But moving on. Perceptor's first lesson involves a theoretical satellite falling from orbit, which will land in a busy shopping area. Medix says that he has the answer, but Perceptor ignores him.
Do you have an idea, Hotshot?
Me? No, I just thought, maybe, huh?
A volunteer.
Again, this seems like a little odd behavior for Whirl. I would think that she would verbally encourage Hotshot to give his answer, not forcibly raise his hand for him. But anyways, I'm surprised that my first instinct was pretty close to Hotshot's. If it were me as my OC, I'd just fly up and punch it. Which would look super cool, but then I guess that means the debris would still fall to the earth. So Hotshot's idea of catching it is way better. Maybe I need to go to RescueBots Academy before trying to be a RescueBot myself. So Perceptor takes the recruits out into the real world for another science lesson. And in one scene, we see some kids skateboarding. But if you look closely, there's actually some interesting Easter eggs here. First off, on the side of one of the buildings, we see a large poster for Skateboard Snakes 2, which was a movie that Cody watched with the recruits in the episode The TX-3000.
I'm thinking Simians in Space or Skateboard Snakes 2.
They made a sequel?
Although it is kind of weird that we're still seeing Skateboard Snakes 2 advertised when it's already out on home video. Maybe it's a re-release or something, but I think it would have been better if they made the poster for Skateboard Snakes 3 instead. Also, if you look really closely, it looks like we can spot a couple of characters who will be showing up in a future episode. Or maybe they're from a previous episode? I don't know. The order of these episodes is all messed up. Even Treehouse, where I recorded some of these later episodes, lists 2 episodes with the same number. And neither of these episodes are that number in TF Wiki's episode listing, which, as I've covered, even that is wrong. So, Wedge saves a skateboarding pupper using science, whether he realized it or not. Aw, poor doggy. In the next rescue, Hoist uses a steel beam as a balance bar as he tightrope walks to save some stranded humans in a cable car. Even if we don't know the exact order of some of these episodes, this one must have come after Shall We Dance, because Hoist is demonstrating some impressive balance and agility here, which must be a result of his ballet lessons. So, in order to get his senpai Perceptor to notice him, Medix steals the Sigma and tries to repair the space station by himself. And we see Perceptor transform into his microscope mode, although here he's using it more like a telescope than a microscope. But still, that's pretty awesome. I honestly didn't expect to see Perceptor transform in this series. Now, if only we could just get Grimlock to transform too. Medix's plan inevitably backfires, and once again, I couldn't help but think that if this was me as my OC in this situation, I could easily fly up and save Medix in my space jet mode. I'm starting to feel a little jealous of Perceptor. I kinda wish this was me in his place. But then of course if I did that, the recruits wouldn't have this lesson to learn. It's kind of funny when the recruits all high-five, Hoist is too far over to reach them, so he just high-fives himself. Aw, poor Hoist. So the other recruits rescue Medix, or did Medix rescue the other recruits? And everyone gets safely back to Earth, somehow, through the convenience of editing. And it's revealed that the reason why Perceptor wasn't calling on Medix is because he knew that he knew the answers, and he wanted to give the other recruits a chance to learn, which makes sense. And Medix even becomes Perceptor's new teacher's assistant. Overall, this episode was very weird, especially how the characters felt very out of character. In particular, Medix's sudden yandere-style obsession with Perceptor.
Notice me, senpai, notice me!
Notice me, senpai, notice me!
I'm just glad that this episode ended before Medix started hurting his fellow recruits for stealing Perceptor's attention. Anyways, this was not a great episode. I'd say you could skip it, although I do wonder if the fact that Medix is now Perceptor's teaching assistant will come up in a future episode. As always, let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you next time for another Transformers Rescue Bots Academy episode review.